My wife and I have decided that we're going to do a section hike of the Appalachian Trail. We're going to do it in April. Not sure if we're going to do it at the beginning of April or the end of April. Still trying to put that together, as well as the itinerary. We don't exactly know how many days we're going to take. We're going to shoot for 5, but it may take less, may take more. I doubt it'll take more, but it should. 5 is being pretty conservative. We're going to start at Springer Mountain, and we're going to go to 31 plus miles to Neels Gap. We've considered other areas and other sections of the AT to do, but ultimately we decided to start at the beginning. We just figured it'd be appropriate. Also, we're familiar with the area. We had our 20-year wedding anniversary down in that section of Georgia, and we had a good time down there and enjoyed it a lot, and decided to go back. Now, we have batted around the idea of doing the approach trail as well, and that adds on 9 miles to the overall trek. Don't know if we're going to do it or not. It all depends on what our options are as far as getting dropped off, because our intention is to park at Neels Gap and then get someone to shuttle us to Springer Mountain. If they can't shuttle us to Springer Mountain, then if the best they can do is Amicalola, then I guess we'll end up doing the approach trail. We are going to be spending the next month and a half in preparation for our hike. We're going to do a lot of overnights, just getting used to wearing our packs again, getting used to setting up our hammocks and sleeping outside. We're going to hopefully do some strenuous day hikes. One in particular I think will assist us greatly in preparation for the AT, and that's Buford Mountain. Buford Mountain is in southeast Missouri. It's near a town called Ironton. It's a 10-mile loop trail that loops through the Buford Mountains. It's the max elevation of, I think, 1,720 feet, but through the entire 10-mile trip you end up ascending 2,000 feet. We did an overnight at Buford Mountain. Right off the bat, as soon as you enter the trail, it's literally 700 feet up over the course of 2 miles. So it's nothing to laugh about. It's a pretty strenuous little trek, and I figure if we can do that in one day, our section hike should be fairly easy. With that said, we're going to also be working on strength training and cardio training at home, and on our weekdays when we can't get out and hike. We're also going to kind of, not as important as the rest, but we're also going to put a focus on trying to drop a few pounds in preparation, just to ease the load, And while we're talking about easing the load, one of our other focuses is to drop weight in our packs, because the last time we went out, our packs were like 45 pounds, and that's just way too much, especially on a multi-day hike. That is just way too much. We did something similar when we went to Pictured Rocks the first time. Our packs were like right around 40 pounds, and it was just terrible. I mean, we felt awful the whole way. We need to get our packs more in line with the like 30 at the max, but somewhere in the mid-20s would be great. It's hard to do when you're starting out with the packs that we have, so as much as I don't want to do it, we may end up buying my wife a new pack. I have another pack. I have a smaller Osprey pack that's 36 liters. The only downside is I can't get everything I would like into it. There's a give and take when you have a small pack. I wish I had a little bit bigger of a pack, but the one thing I can't do is buy new packs for both Soraya and myself. Soraya is also starting at a disadvantage because her sleeping bag is a Kelty Tuck 35, and it's 3 pounds by itself, whereas my entire sleep system is 3 pounds. So she's at a disadvantage there. But hopefully with a different pack, she'll have more of a manageable way to be more in line with where I intend to be. Outside of that, really, the only other thing we need to do is a lot of research on the trail. like I said, we never haven't put together an itinerary yet, so we don't exactly know how far we're going to be going each day and where we're going to be camping. We have to learn all the potential spots where you can camp, where all the shelters are, where all the water is, and hopefully plan a route that's not too restrictive, and basically just have a plan B, plan C, in all eventualities. If we end up, starting the trail and realize we can only do 4 miles, we have to have a plan for that. If we get on the trail and realize it's a piece of cake, we're doing 8 miles, 9 miles. Let me explain Pictured Rocks. When you go and set up a trip to hike Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, you have to kind of set up in advance everything. It's not a free experience by any means. You have to get your campsites reserved, but not reserved. You just have to let them know where you're staying. It's very regimented, and now in the off season they're a little less, they're more relaxed, but it's just in the really popular periods where it's like they really want you staying where you said you're going to stay. So our first trip, we ended up budgeting it out to 6 days, and the first couple days were only 7-mile days. So we would get a start at 10 or 11 in the morning, and we'd be done by 3. And little did we know when we were down there that in upper Michigan, it's still daylight all the way till 10 o'clock. We could have walked farther. Basically, is the gist of the story I'm getting. We could have walked a lot farther. We had a lot more daylight to walk, but we were physically exhausted as well. I mean, that was the first time we really did a multi-day hike. It was also one of the last times we did it. Pictured Rocks, the 3 times we went out there, obviously were multi-day, but that was the one where we did the most days consecutively back to back. We haven't done ones like that since. That's what this section hike of the AT is going to be. The main difference is that it's all uphill. We've heard about Sassafras Mountain, we've heard about Blood Mountain, we've heard all these stories about how grueling it's going to be. Of course, this is all speculation. It's all speculation until you do it. The opinions of the trail vary so wildly that you just don't know for sure, how it's going to affect you and how it's going to impact you when you get out there. I've been going out hiking for 2.5 years now on some very strenuous terrain over multiple days. Never once have I felt like I need to jog a mile in order to do any of this. I mean, I guess from a certain perspective, if you're intending on doing the thru-hike, like an AT thru-hike, you probably want to be in that sort of condition. But I've also heard from people that say you don't have to be in super fit condition because, as long as you have the desire and the determination to see it through, you'll end up being fit by the time you're done. I take everything with a grain of salt and try to find what works best for me. And luckily, I don't live in an area that's just entirely flat. And so I can kind of simulate what the conditions are going to be a little bit. Not exactly, but a little bit. Enough to where I'll feel confident in our ability to pull it off. And I'm confident in our ability to pull it off. I mean, it's only 31 miles. It's not like it's, do or die. So, looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun time. I'm going to try to document it as best as I can. I really don't want to take an additional camera, but I'm looking into options. But I don't want to use my phone because I kind of feel like I need my phone for emergency purposes and things like that. And for some reason, my phone, I got a Galaxy S7, and the battery is just dying rapidly now. So I don't want to try to juggle between having it for emergency use, sending texts, and updating family members and whatnot, and then running video with it. So I'll figure out something if I can. I can't take this camera because this is the Canon 6D and it's heavy. I'm not taking it. I'll get some good footage. Even if it's just photos, I'll get some good footage. But I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be great. And hopefully you'll stick around to check it out. And if you want to subscribe to this channel, you know, because you like what you see and you're sticking with it, more power to you. I wouldn't say no. And also, let me know, like, if you've hiked the AT before, and especially that section, and you have some, you know, stories you want to share, any information you want to impart, please let us know. You know, it's only going to be beneficial for us to gather as much information as possible. I mean, even if you don't agree with what I'm saying and you have an alternate, you know, perspective on things, I'd like to hear it. You know, I'm not going to silence any train of thought as far as how to approach it. Like I said, the more information, the better. So, thanks for watching this, and see you later.